Hey everyone, it's Dr. Eric Shoemake, a Maximize Living chiropractor, and I'm here to talk to you about a very important topic because it's something that you do every day and it's massively important for your health, and that is sleep. So, we have a new workshop coming up here that we're really excited about, and it's called Sleep Smarter: Unlock the Power of Rest for Better Health. If you're waking up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep, if you're trying to fall asleep and you can't turn your brain off, if you're waking up in the morning and you don't feel rested, pay attention because this is for you. We're so excited about this workshop across the Maximize Living Network because this is really one of our main essentials when it comes to mindset, and you're going to see why sleep is so important. I've been in practice for 25 years. And I always have a list, an intake form with a list of, hey, tell me what kind of symptoms you're dealing with so we can help you. And it used to be a lot of people, would put, back pain, neck pain, headaches. I see more and more people put sleep problems now than I've ever seen before. This is, poor sleep is really becoming an epidemic. If you have insomnia, which means you sleep less than 5.5 hours a night, that increases your risk of all-cause mortality, which means you're more likely to die of literally everything. So, proper sleep for most adults should be anywhere from 7 to 8.5 hours, but the average American gets less than 5.5 hours of sleep. So, again, we're going to go into why that's important and why this workshop is going to be so important for you to get to, and then bring someone with you because there are people, if you've ever had problems sleeping, if you've ever struggled with insomnia, it's absolutely miserable, and those people need an answer. So, the reason this is important to me is because I love the five essentials. So as you know, in Maximize Living offices all across the country, we teach the five essentials, which is we always say your body needs no help to heal you; it just needs no interference. Well, where are the sources of interference going to come from? Well, it's going to come from these five places. And one of those could be your spine, which is why core chiropractic is at our center. Another could be nutrition. Poor nutrition interferes with your body's ability to heal. Mindset, which is what we're going to discuss in a second. Oxygen and exercise. If you're not moving your body, that interferes with your body's ability to heal. And then minimizing toxins, because if you're ingesting toxins all the time, it's going to interfere with your body's ability to heal. This is why we've seen people transform their lives. This is why we've seen people be able to, lose 50 pounds, to overcome chronic conditions, to get off of drugs that their doctor said they were never going to be able to get off of. And we do that through these five essentials. And as you see, mindset is right here in the middle. And a big part of mindset is sleep, because if you're not sleeping well, then your mindset goes downhill really quickly. So if you look around at people right now, the bottom line is poor sleep wreaks havoc on your brain. So I'm going to go through how that is and why that is in a second. I'm going to start with children because it's official now. 58% of children are not getting enough sleep. And just look at what it does when our kids aren't sleeping. Okay, so 68% of those it increases your risk of concentration problems by 68%. How many kids have ADHD type symptoms now? Impulse control, again, how many kids have been labeled ADHD? Risk of depression goes up 97%. That's not just in children, that's in everyone. Your risk of depression goes up massively when you're not sleeping. And I'll go through why these stages of sleep are important and to make sure you're getting enough, because that's where your body and your brain actually it recycles serotonin, it allows memories, it changes your moods for the next day when you get proper levels of sleep. It increases your risk of anxiety by 72%. I mean, it's massive. Poor sleep is massive. It's not something that would be nice to have. It is an essential when it comes to sleep. We were doing an event recently for in our town for local new educators. So these are middle school and high school teachers, and we probably talked to 200 of them, and we had to fill out. They filled out a stress survey with, hey, what's going on in your life right now? And out of 200, there was probably 150 that said depression or anxiety. And so much of that has to do with poor sleep. Right now, 60 million adults experience of mental illness in the last year. 1 in 5 kids between 12 and 17 experienced at least one major depressive episode last year. And again, you're going to see how this has to do with your sleep. Now, what do most people do? They turn to sleep medications because they don't know what else to do. That can be taking something like Benadryl, which doesn't really make you sleep, it just knocks you out. Or it could take, something like Ambien or Lunesta, or one of those medications. Well, there's a study that came out recently, and this is on PubMed, and it said that sleep medications increase the risk of cancer. because these medications interfere with your body's ability to heal. They're not actually helping you sleep, even though you may feel knocked out. It's like if you drink a 12 pack of beer, you might pass out, but you're not asleep. You don't wake up feeling good the next day. And that's the problem. So people don't know where else to turn, which is why we're doing this workshop. So if you're watching this and you're having sleep problems, make sure you get registered to come to our next workshop called Sleep Smarter and bring someone with you. If you have a teenager that's struggling sleeping, bring them with you. If you have a neighbor, bring them with you. Someone at your church group, bring them with you, because people really don't know where else to turn. So what we're going to teach you at this event is what we call your sleep levers. So I'll get to those in a second, but I want to discuss this 4 stages of sleep first. There are 4 stages of sleep for every sleep cycle that you have, and you have many sleep cycles throughout the night. You don't just go to sleep and then stay in one stage of sleep. You cycle through this several times throughout the night. That's the way your body was designed. So the first stage is called non-REM stage 1. That's like when you just start to fall asleep, like where you're just getting a little, you twitch a little bit. That's right when you start to fall asleep. And then you get into non-REM stage 2. That's the light sleep. So I have an Oura Ring. So if you have a sleep tracker like an Oura Ring or Apple Watch, these are your light stages of sleep. Okay. So non-REM stage 2, that's basically your light sleep, which is what you get a lot of. What happens? Your heart rate slows down. Usually lasts about 20 minutes during each sleep cycle, but then that gets you prepared for the 2 most important ones, which are the bottom, left and right. Non-REM stage 3, that's called deep sleep. Okay. Stage 3 sleep is called deep sleep. It's the most restorative sleep, and in my opinion, the most important sleep that you're going to get is this non-REM stage 3 sleep. So one thing that happens here is your memories get consolidated there. So the things that you learn throughout the day actually get, wired into your hard drive so you can remember them. If you're worried about brain fog, if you don't remember things like you used to, people's phone numbers, or you're losing your keys, that's largely because we're not getting enough stage 3 sleep. Another very important thing that happens here is that your brain actually does a big reset, and it starts to flush out toxins and it flushes out metabolites from the day. So it actually is house cleaning. It's getting rid of what builds up called beta amyloid protein that causes Alzheimer's disease. So if you get less than a certain amount of stage 3 sleep, it increases your risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. That's been proven. So what do you do to get into this stage 3? Well, a couple things to understand. First of all, the majority of stage 3 sleep happens at the beginning of your night. So if you look at, again, if I look at my Oura Ring, the majority of my stage 3 sleep happens in the first couple of hours of sleep. So if you're fighting sleep, if you stay up and watch that extra, movie or Netflix show and you don't fall asleep till 2 hours after you normally do, you're not getting this deep sleep. You're robbing yourself of this very important part of sleep that helps your brain, again, consolidate memory and get rid of beta amyloid protein, which that's what's going to cause Alzheimer's if you're not getting rid of this beta amyloid protein. So you need stage 3 sleep to dump that stuff and clean your brain. Okay. Very, very important. And then you go into REM sleep. Now, a lot of people, you've heard REM sleep, rapid eye movement. And that sleep is that's when you're dreaming a lot. And dreams are a very important way, again, that your body it's kind of like defragging your computer. If you ever have too many windows open on your computer and you need to shut things down and restart your computer so it runs better, that's what the stage 4 REM sleep does for you. It also helps your body recycle serotonin, which is very important for your mood. So you have to go through all of these phases. Now, the problem is what most people do is either they can't fall asleep in the beginning of the night, or they wake up in the middle of the night and they can't fall asleep. So maybe that's you. If you wake up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're up, you can't fall asleep for another hour and a half. You've just missed out on an entire sleep cycle, so your brain is not getting the love that it needs. So if you are waking up in the middle of the night, pay attention. I'm going to show you what to do about that in just a minute. So here's what you can do to improve your sleep. We have what's called sleep levers. So there's some tools that we're going to teach you at this workshop on how you can immediately start changing your quality of sleep so you get all of these stages of sleep the way you're supposed to. One of those is light. We're going to show you how to use light. It doesn't just mean sleep in the dark. There's brand new research on what you do in the morning that actually will trigger your melatonin for the evening. It's one of the biggest things I've been able to help patients with over the last 10 years or so. So we're going to teach you what to do with light. There's another one, which is temperature. Not just sleeping cold temperatures to sleep, but you can actually change your body temperature to trigger things like melatonin to help you sleep. And we're going to show you how to do that. And then there's food and supplements. So there's certain sleep supplements that really make a big difference. Things like inositol, L-theanine, which helps your body make GABA. GABA is what turns your brain off. It's kind of, they call it nature's Valium. It calms your body down and turns your brain off. So if you're not sleeping properly, and you're not, and your brain won't turn off. So if you lay down, we call that being wired and tired. You lay down, but your brain won't turn off, even though your body's tired. There's some supplements that really help that by improving the chemistry in your brain. And we're going to show you all of those things. So we're going to teach you what's called sleep hygiene and how to start sleeping better immediately. So again, make sure you get registered for this workshop that's coming up called Sleep Smarter. Now, one of the reasons that people wake up in the middle of the night, we're gonna talk about, it's called a histamine dump. So histamine, you may have heard of antihistamines like Benadryl. Histamine is a molecule or a group of molecules in your body that get dumped in the middle of the night if you have a buildup of histamine throughout the day. Again, this is spring cleaning for your body when you're sleeping. So it tries to dump this histamine out. But if you have too much of that histamine throughout the day, it creates this overload of histamine, and that's where you wake up and you can't fall back to sleep, because histamine in that regard is going to be a stimulant. So you wake up, maybe your heart's racing a little bit, and you can't fall back to sleep. Well, a lot of that is what you eat before dinner or around dinner before you go to bed. A lot of people are, snacking on chocolate or something like that before they go to bed. Well, that's a histamine-rich food. So we're going to teach you the foods that you can avoid, especially right before you go to bed, that interrupt your sleep. So again, huge part of what we're going to teach there. We're also going to teach you a routine called sleep hygiene. So sleep isn't something you're just like, well, I guess I'll just go fall asleep. You want to really think about it and use your brain to say, okay, how can I create a good sleep environment for me so that I can fall asleep and stay asleep? So when most people have a hard time sleeping, if you look over here at this brain waves frequencies, most people are stuck in beta or gamma waves, which is great when you're trying to learn something or you're really engaged in something. When you want your brain to turn off, you want theta waves and delta waves. Well, there's ways that you can do that. We're going to teach you a method of breathing that has been shown and proven to reduce your brain waves down to these theta and delta waves so you can fall asleep. But if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can do this, little breathing exercise that helps you fall back asleep. So really, really big part of the sleep hygiene. And then one thing I'm super excited about, I struggle with adrenal fatigue. This is probably about 10 years ago for me now, but this was me. Because I'm kind of a type A personality, so you might be able to relate. Most of us can relate now because we just have way too much going on, too busy, too much of a busy life. But that was me. And my adrenals actually play a big role in sleep because they affect your brain chemistry. And I wasn't sleeping at all. I was tired all the time. I was miserable because my adrenals had become burned out. So if you have adrenal stress or adrenal fatigue, tell me if this is you. Wired and tired feeling at bedtime, which means your body's tired, but your brain won't turn off. You're just thinking about what you had to do, what happened that day, or what's going to happen the next day. Big thing for me was a mid-afternoon slump. So around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was a wreck. I needed to go take a nap. Anxiety, I would wake up feeling anxious, even though I didn't really have anything to be anxious about. I just woke up anxious. A lot of people experience depression, again, because this affects your serotonin and your dopamine levels. Weight gain around the midsection because your cortisol gets messed up. Immunity issues is another really big thing I had. I got 3 or 4 viruses in a year and I just couldn't shake it. And I'm like, man, something has to be wrong. And sure enough, it was my adrenals. And then it can also cause brain fog and body aches. Well, again, if that's you, what we're going to show you to do at this workshop that's coming up here is how to fix your adrenals. So this is called Sleep Smarter. Unlock the power of rest for better health. So one of those things we'll be teaching you is how to repair your adrenals to give your body what it needs, B vitamins and some ashwagandha and some other things that your body needs to rebuild the adrenals so you have energy throughout the day. It reduces aches and pains, it reduces brain fog, and allows you to function the way you would need to function. So make sure you get registered. This is a super popular workshop. This one in our office always fills up. So make sure you get registered today and bring someone with you, because there's someone that you're going to come across today, at least one person, probably 5, that doesn't sleep. They're going to tell you they didn't sleep well last night. And I will tell you, there's something I've been telling a lot of my patients is the people around you that are struggling with their health, they don't just need sympathy. They need an answer. And we have those answers. You have those answers. Maximize Living Through the 5 Essentials has those answers. So make sure you get registered for this event. Bring a busload of people. Bring your church group. We can't wait to see you there, because if you can sleep smarter, you're going to have much better health. You're going to be who you were created to be, and you're going to have the health that you were intended to have.